Well, let's talk Saudis, because the Saudi Investment Conference kicking off next week, and things have changed a lot since a year ago. A number of Wall Street executives have now confirmed their attendance despite the backlash last year over the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And joining us right now with her reporting on all of this is Kate Kelly, reporter at the New York Times, also a CNBC contributor. Our guest host, CNBC contributor Walter Isaacson, is also with us. Kate, I went to this. We both went.
We were there together in 2017.
2017. Yeah. Got out of it last year.
That's right.
After the Khashoggi murder. And a lot of executives said they weren't going, but now everybody's going back.
Yeah, it does seem like what a difference a year makes in the case of Wall Street here. And you'll recall last year, I believe it was Larry Fink, and this was echoed by Jamie Dimon, that this pulling out of the conference is not going to make a huge difference. That was sort of the mentality. And as you can see, Jamie's not going this year, but Larry Fink is, and other senior people are. You know, according to Axios, Mike Corbett from Citigroup is going, Ray Dalio from Bridgewater. We've confirmed others, Dina Powell-McCormick. John Waldron, the president of Goldman Sachs, is going for the first time.
So what does this say, though? What does this say about last year? What does this say about this year? What does this say about our relationship with the Saudis? What does it say about the moral issues involved in corporations? I talked to
Stephen Cook from the Council on Foreign Relations, among others, and he said, look, people never really stop doing business with Saudi. They want to be there. They want to continue the relationship. And going to the Future Investment Initiative is one indication of that. The Aramco IPO, you know, much discussed for literally years now. It's a critical part of Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030. And people think it's actually going to work out. It's going to come to market maybe even as early as next month. And this could be the biggest IPO in history. Right. So you've got a lot of major international banks, including Citi, JPM, Goldman, and Morgan Stanley working on it.
So, Walter, though, what do you think? There was a big part of the public that actually applauded a lot of these executives last year.
And you wrote about it quite a bit.
And I was
one of the leaders of the movement.
And people considered them to be statesmen when there was a view that somehow those in Washington were not.
Yes.
Was this just show and PR spin?
And is it again this year that you're not going and everybody else is back and you'll go next year? You give it one more year to sort of simmer?
But it's like Metternich.
By the way, it's a genuine question, and I don't know the answer.
Are you going next year?
I don't know whether
Will you ever go back?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It is a good question because Metternich said, you know, nations, and it happens to companies, they don't have permanent enemies. You know, they don't have permanent friends. They just have permanent interests. After a while, you put something in a penalty box, but you have to say, okay, I'm going to now do business with China. I'm going to do business with Saudi Arabia, whatever. You can't permanently do it. I do think that because the Saudis, you know, have Aramco coming on and everything else, people are a little bit too craven and moving back a little bit too fast to a kingdom that should be kept at arm's length a little bit more. But, yeah, of course people are going to go back.
I think there's a legitimate business ethics question here, though. I mean, on the one hand, you had this horrific murder of Jamal Khashoggi, and there's a clear indication that Saudi officials were involved in it, if not ordered it. And then even before that, don't forget, you had Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, among other elites, locked up at the very same Ritz-Carlton where you and I were having tea at the conference in 2017.
The business ethics as demonstrated by the NBA and Nike with China was impressive to you in terms of the business ethics?
Well, no, what I was going to say, Joe,
everything is you got to be cynical to look at the business world and understand that in the real world how things we wouldn't be able to trade with anyone on the entire globe if everyone who murdered. What about China? How could you possibly do any business with China? And here we've been benefiting.
Well, I think there could be growing fallout with China. I mean, especially, obviously, you have the tariff fights, but then there are also concerns about human rights there. But what I was going to say is there is an argument, and some people would make it, that you're better off being at the table. Right. And Larry Fink has said this. He said, look, if you guys want to be global actors, you have to act like you're on the global stage, and having a dialogue and being a business partner is perhaps part of helping to modernize
in the Middle
economy.
East, you look at Saudi Arabia is a kingdom still, so kings do, and you look at what the type of punishment that gets meted out in countries all over the Middle East. We are horrified by, but I don't know how we try to export our value system on places. What do you then just don't deal with?
It's a longer debate. Come on back.